Alright, hi class. We're going to talk about modified contour. I was going to talk to you guys about what's an interesting object to draw. I grabbed my son's Hot Wheel Cruiser Bruiser, and I thought this would be a good illustration of something. This is kind of interesting to draw because it has a lot of detail on it, right? And the wheels and throughout it, interesting shapes. It's a toy, so it's not real, so it's real object but not real car, so that kind of puts it into a strange category. It's sometimes not so good because it doesn't have as much detail as a regular real object that's not like a toy or a stand-in for something else, but it's still got a lot versus something like this. Yeah, I guess it's got a lot of detail, but it's not that interesting because once you take away the label, basically it's just a little bottle, right? Or a blob. A pencil sharpener would be better than that because at least you have some detail. But the point I'm trying to make is don't pick an object that looks like a pencil case. Black with a little button. That's not going to be very interesting or creative or allow you to have creative drawings, because part of the creativity of this is picking a certain type of object that you're going to draw and how you show it, which angle you show it from, etc. Make sure you keep your pencils sharp too. It's a common thing that people they start drawing and drawing and drawing and then they never sharpen their pencil. And then I walk around the class and you end up with pencils as dull as this, and people are trying to draw these nice drawings with accurate lines and a dull pencil. So regularly sharpen your pencil. That is fine, but I even sharpen it a tiny bit more than that and keep it really nice and crisp so I get a good accurate line. Okay. I'm going to start drawing my sketchbook from now on because I've been trying to draw on the board like I want you to. The problem is the camera doesn't pick up enough of it. So the camera doesn't pick up enough of the paper. It makes it hard to do. So I'm going to just draw my sketchbook. I can't get a really great angle, but I'm going to keep trying to where the camera can see from over my shoulder. Doesn't really work with the tripod. But you can get a pretty good idea of it here. So I have my paper. I'm going to draw this toy car that it's my son's. I'm going to put it up on something so it's a little higher so I can actually see it. Got it over on the pencil case. And I'm going to face my body towards the car that I'm drawing. Let's see. Yeah, why am I telling you that? Because it's oftentimes it'd be easy for someone to be like facing this way and drawing something over here. It doesn't work well. It's actually better if you face directly at what you're drawing. So my eyes are facing this way and the car is here. So I'm facing directly at it, parallel to it. Why? Because when I'm looking my head up and down, up and down, up and down, or turning back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, I'm messing up my sort of perceptual ability to stay focused in a direction, and I'm kind of not returning to the same spot every time is what I mean by perceptual ability. I'm not like I'm not giving myself an easy time of it. I'm making it harder on myself, because if I stay in the same position, my head can kind of stay there. When I get into like accurate drawing with sight C measured drawing, which is where you start proportionally measuring things out, you like go, okay, how big is it? Then you don't want to move your eye because you kind of have to turn yourself into like a human version of what someone uses when they go to survey lines out in the world for like property. You're turning yourself into almost like a device to try to stay still and stay from one fixed point of perspective. So this is just a good habit to get into. Plus it makes it more comfortable for your body to not have to move and twist all the time. Okay, some of this stuff where I'm going on and on about positions of your body, how you hold your drawing board and things like that, it seems probably like a little overbearing or like ridiculous, but it really is going to help you in the long run. As is how you hold your pencil. So we talked a bit about this before, but you don't want to have it too choked up tightly. It's better if you have it back a little bit, have more flexibility. And some teachers have you do it like this. That works too. I just want to say there's a lot of, you kind of want to hold your, for me, you want to hold your pencil in the way that works the best for what you're doing. So if you're kind of doing a long straight line, you might do a backhand with your paper on your hand on the paper. If you're doing a lot of detail, you might do it like this to get a lot of detail and not move your wrists very much, right? And if you're doing like most of the type of drawings we're going to do, you're going to do like a modified contour today. You might want to hold it here so you can draw more from your elbow, and rather than just your wrist and your shoulder all the way up, okay? So modified contour. Last time continuous contour, if you remember, was you can't lift your pencil, so you have to keep it on the page the whole time. Today, modified contour means that you can lift your pencil. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. You're tracing the object with the edge of the object with your eye, and trying to stay still, more focused out on the object than you are on your pencil or your paper. Okay? You'll notice something important. I have yet to ever talk to you about using one of these guys right here, where we have not even broached the idea of erasing. I haven't said anything about it apart from, yeah, you want to have one in the announcements. That's one of the pink ones or magic ones for now, and later one of these kneaded erasers. Why do you think that is? You're thinking to yourself, oh, that's interesting, he hasn't. Why would he do that? Because I don't want you to do exactly what I'm doing right now, to become obsessed with cleaning up your paper and having every line right to the point where you feel like you can't keep anything down on the page until you have to erase. I want you to let the lines be on the page and focus more on your eye seeing the subject that you're drawing than on getting it right and erasing, getting it right and erasing over and over and over again. Okay? Also, if you get the line what you think is, in quotes, wrong, and you need to fix it, before you erase what's wrong and do the new thing, put the new line in place using the old line as a reference point, and then erase. Okay, so erasing, people are so quick to erase they don't even give themselves a chance to kind of see what's happening. Okay, so here we go. Modified contour. I'm still focusing on the object more than my paper or pencil. I'm looking with my eye mostly. I'm going to keep my eyes, and I'm still going to keep on going really slow. This is the speed I'm talking about when I say slow. I'm really, really slowing down here. You go a little faster, but the point is you're not trying to like speed through these. You're trying to make sure you give your eye a chance to link up with your brain and your hand. If you don't like something, this time you can lift up and be like, okay, I didn't like that, but I'm not going to go back and try to fix every little thing and get all sketchy. I'm just going to let it be and then keep on going. I'm drawing the wheel of this thing right now, and I'm not happy with it because I'm trying to talk and draw, but there it is. I don't like that, so I'm going to go back here and keep on going. Okay, it has a little part in the middle of it, so I'm just going to go right there. If you notice I haven't yet talked to you about blocking anything out or any kind of proportions, it's because that's coming soon for the accuracy. Right now, what we're trying to deal with in class is edge accuracy, really seeing the edges of shapes and things and form, and also seeing, perception of things. We're really trying to focus in on paying more attention to the objects and really trying to see them than we are to things looking perfect on the paper, because we're really trying to struggle through breaking the symbol system that you have in your head, breaking through it, I should say, not breaking it, because we want it there, just not when we're trying to draw things. We don't want it interrupting constantly and telling you you're doing a bad job, or you know what things look like, or you know how things should be. So we're just trying to really slow down and focus on objects so our eye can get tuned in to our hand, our eye to our brain to our hand. We can start creating that linkage more and more, and focus on seeing rather than thinking we know how everything should look already. Okay, so I'm doing still really long. Part of what makes it modified versus straight old-fashioned contour, it's very similar to what we'll do when we do contour drawing next, is that we're still trying to keep our pencil on the page for longer than we normally would want to, which you should do anyway for any type of drawing, because I don't like seeing these drawings where people are going like hairy lines, sketchy. In my slideshow, it's great for gesture drawing, and it's a type of drawing that's super useful. And you could do it like do a drawing of this car like that, and try to go like this, and get all sketchy, and go back and get a gesture drawing done. And you can kind of do it quicker in a way, okay? But the reason why we're pushing against this is because this is a natural way people want to naturally do it, because that's kind of how a lot of people learn. It's fine and it's good and it has its own sort of quality to it, but this line quality that we're looking for without that, where you're doing longer lines without lifting and smoother, it takes a little practice, and we want to go for all different types of line qualities that we can produce, okay? And this one comes pretty naturally. A lot of people already know it and they want to do it. So it takes a little more work to get to a smoother line quality, something that feels a little more intentional about the actual way the pencil is pressing on the page, okay? And how long it's on the page, and when you lift it and how hard you're pressing, things like that. That's stuff that we don't necessarily think about as often because, we just kind of do it. We're used to writing a certain way and drawing a certain way. So this whole beginning part of the course is for kind of frustrating to people sometimes, because they're like, I already know how to do blah blah blah. I already know how to write or draw. Sure, yeah, you do. You know how to also already know how to sing probably, or walk, Doesn't mean that there isn't more to learn in singing, taking a class and learning how to sing in pitch better, or that if you wanted to learn how to run professionally, that you wouldn't have things you could learn. It's the same thing here. You do have a way that you already probably draw and write, but we're trying to become intentional about those things so you can get better and change some stuff and have new tools. It doesn't mean that the old way you did it is bad, in quotes. It means that it was your way before, and to learn new ways, you have to be willing to be a little bit uncomfortable with the process. And if you learn new ways, you'll have new skill sets you can employ. You can always do the other way you used to draw. You can always go back to it. It's not going to disappear just because you're learning these new things. It's there for you still. We're trying to add more tools to your drawing toolbox, so to speak. Okay, and so that's what we're doing here. It takes a little practice and a little frustration, and you kind of got to go through a little bit of pain here. But on the other side of it, you'll end up with some new skills that are useful, and you'll be happy about it. Okay, so here I am drawing away. I haven't been looking at this very much or talking about the drawing because I'm talking about the concepts we're going through. But you can see how I'm keeping my pencil on the page for long periods of time. And this has been 20 minutes already, so I'm not going to keep going too much longer. But I want to tell you, where have I been lifting? Have you noticed where I've been lifting is when things start to cross over each other. So like here on this thing, I've been lifting whenever I come to an edge where I need to make a transition. Instead of, like before with the continuous contour drawing, I would have kept going and just kind of had weird lines that look like they're hanging around, like the wire sculpture in the slideshow. Well, that's the kind of spots I'm lifting at. Otherwise, I'm pretty much trying to stay with my pencil on the page the whole time, like the wheels I lifted. So that should give you a good idea about modified contour. You're going to want to go through those and do that. This is, when I look at this right now, I'm like, I'm not exactly happy with the way it looks because I'm not trying to do proportions yet and measure it. But I am happy about a couple things. One is the line quality, the fact that it didn't lift my pencil, and that I'm starting to just give my brain continual practice with just studying the edges, looking at the edges, and not being afraid to put a line down that I don't think is right. Because when you let your brain, the other side of your brain, the nonverbal side, have its way for a little bit and calm your mind down and kind of get into a real relaxed state, you'll find that you can really, it might be really nice for you in this kind of crazy time in the world. You'll actually have a reprieve from the voice inside your head all the time, possibly, as well as you'll find that things don't look exactly the way you thought they do. You have a symbol in your mind, you think it looks a certain way, but it actually, when it's on the page and out there, it actually looks a bit differently. And you'll be surprised sometimes at things like circles turning in space, all kinds of things are a little bit different than you would have thought. And you only learn that through actually just looking and drawing. So it's a whole different way. It kind of helps you see the world a bit differently, and maybe it can help you have a less critical attitude towards yourself, to just put a line on the paper and not like it right away, but just let it be there and keep on drawing. And then when we get to the next stages of something and you see something you don't like, you're like, oh, this circle's not right, I don't exactly like it. Well, instead of erasing it right away, maybe you go in and you actually change it a little bit and you go, okay, I wanted it to be more like that. And then after you change it, then you can go, okay, I'll erase the wrong line. But all these things are, they're about drawing and they're good for you to learn to draw, but maybe they also have other things in life that they apply to. Just trying something in life, learning it, starting it, doing it a bit wrong, and then letting yourself live with that little tension and then get better each step of the way. That's something that could be a useful life skill in general. So, like I said, when you're drawing something, I want you to take your camera out on your phone, take a picture of what you're drawing from where your eyes are, okay, in line with your eyes, how it looks to you. Take a picture and keep that picture, and then send it to me. Turn in when you get to the still life part, you're going to turn in a picture of it with your drawings. That way I can see from your perspective what it looked like, and then I can give you more feedback. That's for the next, not for this one, not for continuous and modified, but once we start setting up still lifes for contour, you're going to do that. But why don't you start doing it now? That way it's a good practice for you, and you can kind of compare later and look at it a bit. I just want you, I'm telling you to do it now so you develop the habit as soon as you start drawing. Just to quickly for this class, take a picture of what you're drawing. That way you have a record of it and you don't forget to do it. Okay? Take care, guys. Hopefully you're staying well out there, and please message me if you have questions or things aren't going well. I want to help you as soon as I can, so don't wait too long to message if you're having a problem. Okay?